Hello, Duelist, it's Tom Box here. Of course, I'm late to the party with the ban list stuff, but it's okay because I'm actually going to bring you a full analysis of this ban list, but let's actually just run this over, and I'll actually talk about some of the stuff right here, the stuff that aren't on the ban list, because a lot of people wish these things were hit, and there's also supposed to be ABC stuff there, but we'll get into it in a bit. But first of all, Forbidden. We have Kieran, Match Spectre Kieran, Tyrant Neptune, and Vanity's Emptiness. Now, Kieran is a problem card to most people that can't play around it because of its immunity to destruction. It has anti-targeting capabilities. It's just an overall very strong card, and you can't really get rid of this card unless you can banish it. And that actually proves to be more difficult than anything. And because of that, it got banned right away. It's a problem card to Zoodiac, it's a problem card to just so many things. That controls Temple very well, and even if you do use a Kaiju to answer the card, it comes back next turn. And it also has its own Kaiju plays, which allows you to get rid of 2 monsters while bouncing back, well, of course, your own Kaiju. Very sick plays, had to go. I'm kind of sad that it did go away because it does hurt, of course, Magic Spectre decks, but not only that, it hits Metaphor decks, and Metaphor Zoo definitely did not like taking this hit. Are you still going to play your Magic Spectre Bunbuku, the raccoon? I don't know, is it worth playing, or are you just going to run the other traps? I think the deck variants will change. Now you have Bao Baboon, so maybe you'll replace it with that instead. Now for Tyrant Neptune, this is an FTK prevention. I am really glad that Konami TCG is definitely taking into account and preventing stuff like FTKs. Lucinia FTK is very gross, and I'm glad we don't need to see this. Because any format with an FTK deck is very degenerate, and they are always targeted on the ban list. So this is a prevention move. Congrats, I guess we don't have to deal with it. Lucky ass TCG. And Vanity's Emptiness. Now some of these cards, throughout the interviews with various players, they have called this out. And this card was definitely one that Chansey Wigglestone Squiddy called this one out because it is a very degenerate card. He believes that it should have been banned many formats ago because it just doesn't let your opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh! Why would you do that? I think out of a scale of 1 to 10 of how fun this card is a 0. Like, it's not fun playing against this card. You just use it to blow out your opponent, and there's so many cheesy ways like to stop your opponent from even playing. Like, even against a Zoodiac player, if you guys are equally matched and one guy flips Emptiness on you while you have control over the board, I don't expect anyone to actually come back from that unless they have a Dark Hole. Yeah, something like that. Now, let's see his stuff going to Limited. We have Maxi going to 1. Another card called out by Chansey. Not in my predictions, although this is actually not a complete surprise to me because Maxi is, in fact, a very, very strong card in this current format. Just saying, in this format, it is a very strong card, and it actually opens up the replacement to Maxi, which will be Ghost Ash, Ghost Ash Beautiful Spring, or Spring Flower. I don't know what the name of the card is at TCG, but like that card is going to be our new hand trap, and rather than punishing your opponent for playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you can actually prevent them from playing one card in Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's okay. But I'll go back into the combo ban in a bit, but the other stuff that are coming back to 1 are all the power cards of the past that got an errata. So these cards, we will be expecting to see these cards in Duelist Saga. We have Rescue Cat, Brain Control, Branek, the Ice Barrier Dragon, Future Fusion, and Imperial Order. Okay, of course, all these cards got errated. Future Fusion, you don't send cards right away. You send during the first standby phase that this card has been activated, which is, gives you 1 window of MST. That's a full turn. You have a full turn to clear this. If you don't clear this, you will be punished severely. Infernoid decks will play it just to give you a freaking scary threat of throwing their entire deck into the graveyard. Imperial, what else is there for Future Fusion? Future Fusion can basically send 2 dark monsters into the graveyard because of not greedy, but Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. There's lots of things that you can do with in Future Fusion, especially with Cyber Dragon players. You guys definitely might try this card out. Of course, it is much slower, but if you can protect the Future Fusion, you will gain a severe advantage over your opponent. Now, Rescue Cat, of course, the monster that comes out have their effect negated, and it's only once per turn. Brain Control. Now, Brain Control can only take control of monsters that can be normal summoned or set. That's a huge clause, and in fact, I think I would prefer Mind Control over this card, just because, in the current format anyway, because there's no way you're going to be taking a Zoodiac monster unless they leave the Throw-Blade on board thinking it's safe. But, I don't know. It's a tough call on this one. Is it actually going to be played in the meta? There's a chance, but seeing that it's not really used in OCG either, it's a bit iffy. Brionac, of course, the wording change of Brio is that it can only use its effect once per turn, and you can only send cards that your opponent controls back to their hand. So it's not that busted, oh man, I'm just gonna make multiple chains to blow out all your cards so I don't have to commit anything to it. You have to commit with Brio now if you want to blow away multiple cards back to the hand. And Imperial Order, it's just mandatory that you pay 700 in only until the end. When you can't pay, that's when it gets destroyed. So you don't get the choice. However, regardless of that, this card is still, to me, it's busted still, because many decks can turn it off by blowing it up themselves. And if you're winning, you basically have Nat Beast on your field, which is very scary. And of course, true Dracos are going to enjoy this in the upcoming format. And there's a lot of stuff here that are promoting the next set, and I'll get into that in a bit. Semi-limited Zoodiac Ratpier is at 2, which means the infamous combo is now gone, or is it? And Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is at 2. Of course, this is like a Dark Hole-esque card, and being semi-limited like Dark Hole, I think it's necessary because this card, in some cases, is better than Dark Hole. It could be Dark Hole plus an additional 1100 damage from the Kaiju battle, or if you play Zoodiac, well, it's an OTK with 1 rat. Well, previously 1 rat. Now you need more cards to perform the OTK. And Wisdom Eye Magician, this is of course going to 2. It's actually coming back to 2, which is great because now we get to play a more fulfilling deck in terms of the Magician Pendulum, which will be coming out in another structure deck. We're going to get the Zark Magicians, and it's a good step forward going there, so it will promote people to go back into this deck. So if you guys have held on to your copies, well, congratulations moving forward. And Unlimited, now we have Sangan. Now we have 9 eyes. Sangan, because we have 3 copies, went straight to Unlimited. Of course, the card is a little slower, but to be honest, this card could have came back many, many formats ago. And with Max C being at 1, this is a searchable card through Tour Guide, which is, okay, you know what? Even with Max C at 1, if you can search out a Tour Guide, it is still the same card, I guess. You get 1 window of skipping your opponent's entire turn. But Sangan, of course, did get errata. It's only once per turn, and you cannot activate or use the card that you just searched. Fair enough, fair enough. So, but you still can search all the hand traps you want, so that's still pretty disgusting. And that's not just hand trap, like meta foes can definitely search most of their deck. There's tons of things that you can do with this card, so yeah, I think this card's in a good spot. I'm glad to see Sangan come back. Personally, I held on to every single ban card in this game. I keep it in a nice little binder so I can just take my Imperial Order and all those ban cards and put it back in my decks. Okay, but now let's talk about some of the stuff that's not touched. Elder Entity Norden's not touched, Instant Fusion's not touched, Speedroid Terratop's not touched, Dimensional Barrier is not touched, MX Saber Invoker, I guess the Invoker is kind of irrelevant, Zoodiac Barrage isn't touched, and Fire Formation Tenki isn't touched. So a lot of these Zoo cards aren't touched, and Zoo being like a tier 0 engine, why didn't Konami touch more of their cards? All they did was break 1 combo. And I think, this is just my personal opinion, I could be absolutely wrong on this, and you can flame me for it if you want, but, or you can just share your opinion down in the comments below, but like what I think is, Konami does care about what players feel about the game, like in terms of how much they pay for their cards. They know that Zoodiac Barrage went up really, really high, and to keep player confidence in their product, they can't hit the cards so seriously. It's actually the truth. If I sold someone like a bunch of stuff for like a certain amount of price, and then immediately I crash their market, they're just gonna hate my stuff forever, and that's not good. That's not good for maintaining a player base. So what they did instead was they killed the combo, because not only that, they have upcoming product for Zoodiac too. They have the next set, which contains the Leica. And for those that haven't played on YGO Pro or any of the other dueling services, well, you know that Leica offers you the ability to still do your Zoo Rat combo. Of course, using an extra monster or two. But overall, like, if you play Ram, you can... I would actually recommend people playing Ram. But there are ways to actually still perform the combo, and it actually helps us diversify the entire format, where it's not always about, oh, he turned one rat into full combo. Now rat does not offer full combo. You need at least 2 cards to actually access the combo, and you're not going to be cycling rats as much anymore. So that's pretty neat. Elder Entity Norden not being hit at all, that's a bit of a surprise to me. In other words, of course, many of you guys are suggesting that Paleo Frogs are going to be definitely one of the strongest contender. Well, I'm just going to say that they're only going to last a bit longer until Maximum Crisis comes out. Maximum Crisis is going to prove to be a true challenge for that deck. And I'll show you why, because like True Dracos is it's such a fun matchup against that deck. It's hilarious. Anyways, Speedor Terratop did not get hit. Well, it was a 50-50 gamble on that one. Like, as much strong as Terratop is, it only provides another step into the combo, so I'm guessing we're getting equal amount of access for the combo, but we're definitely not getting free advantage with the Daigusto Emerald anymore. Why didn't they hit Daigusto Emerald? Well, I don't know, because it's a pretty, generically, as a card design for Daigusto Emerald, it's actually a pretty fair card. It's nothing, like, you have to commit 2 cards to actually making it, you have to be able to shuffle the cards back, and overall it just has 1800 attack, so it's not like overly threatening either. Dimensional Barrier is a very interesting thing that they did not hit. I actually thought that this card should have went to 2 or even 1, but like, hear me out on this. This card is going to solve itself in the future. Like, it's just, they just need to release product to deal with it, and in Maximum Crisis they actually do something about this. This card does nothing against any deck that, well, basically don't need to access their extra deck. And in terms of like link format, there are a lot of decks, or a lot of players are going to choose a main deck centric deck like Mermail, so they're going to choose like main deck centric decks like Cosmos. And there's going to be the upcoming main deck centric deck that doesn't even need to special summon. It's like Monarchs, it's True Dracos. They don't really care about not using like the extra deck either. So main decking D-Berry, of course, is still very strong against Zoo decks. But there are many decks that can definitely play around this, and holy crap, this is very interesting. I'm actually kind of looking forward to a lot of these new Zoo builds that people are going to come up with to mitigate. MX Saber Invoker, there's nothing really to talk about this guy, because he's just a 1-card access. He's just still there, available access for people to keep on playing Zoo. Because if you actually hit most of the Zoo market, if you went to most of the YCS events, there's a lot of people, a majority of the players, I would say, are still playing Zoo. And if you hit them that hard, and the deck being that expensive, you attack player confidence, and that's just something that they're not going to do. Konami cares about the money that the players, they care about the players with money, that spent money on this game. I'm not wording this properly, but you kind of get the idea. If you spend a lot of money on a deck, you can at least feel some level of security that they're not going to slam your deck. Like, okay, think back to Pepe format. Pepe format, we had the not Flame Jugglers, but the Plush Fires, and what did they hit on that very first list, the emergency adjusted list? They hit all the common stuff, or the stuff that has already been out. So they hit Skullcrobat, they hit like Monkey Board that was... What was Monkey Board? Monkey Board was basically a common. So they made it a common just so that they can immediately hit it if it becomes a problem. What else did they hit? They hit, I believe they hit Luster, because Luster has been out for a while, and it has been played for a while, and it is also only a super. So they don't really hit the money cards. They did not hit like Sorcerers. They did not hit Rafflesia or CDI. They only hit stuff that existed for a while, and and most of the stuff that are new that they hit are just low rarity stuff. And like that, Rat was a new rarity. Rat was a super rare that was easy access to everyone, so hitting it to 2 doesn't feel so bad. So for Zoo players that wants to innovate, it actually encourages us to innovate a bit more. Now, okay, let's look at the ban list overall. I know I've been rambling for a bit. It's been 14 minutes into this video, and Vanity's Emptiness and Maxi both taking a hit. Maxi being at 1, and without Emptiness, it just means that the format will allow you to play more Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just, you can play better, you can play more without getting interrupted by stuff like a bad decision. Because Maxi only gives you 2 bad decisions after all. You can make a weak enough board so that your opponent doesn't gain as much advantage, but he's going to break it anyway next turn and gain as much advantage as he wants. Or you can build your entire board and give your opponent enough stuff to win. So both decisions really suck, especially if you're top decking. You top deck an Instant Fusion thinking you can come back. Well, you might as well just let monster die and just be in a worse position than you were and just take 1,000 damage. But that being said, Instant Fusion is really big. Instant Fusion, hands down, is actually, like, you can just play it without worrying about, like, emptiness, because now you're not going to pay that 1,000 for nothing. And Maxi isn't going to contribute to your opponent getting like a +3/4 on your turn. So Instant Fusion, I see a lot of people are actually probably going to go into like triple Instant Fusion and actually just play a couple more. And if you want to play Zoo, one option that you can try is to add 3 Instant Fusion, run a Carbonala Warrior, and you can even like put funny text in here, because now you don't need the extra Borbo anymore, because you're only going to be able to summon 1 rat anyway, so you can actually cut back on some of your Zoo monsters. Until, of course, Maximum Crisis, where you're going to, of course, get Laika, and Laika can also still set up combos for you, and there's True Dracos as well adding into the equation. Overall, what are your thoughts on this ban list? I still have a couple of more things I want to say, like regarding... Actually, no, I don't really have much left to say anymore. It's just that this list didn't come to me as like a surprise. Things that were hit were all definitely on the radar, and all the stuff that came back were kind of easily predicted by all of us. It was like, if someone did a ban list prediction listing all those cards, I would immediately be like, yes. Yes. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. I would like to hear what you think about the new decks that you're going to play. Are you actually going to try, like... what's that? True King Disaster. There's a funny play you can do with True King Disaster, which is kind of fun, quite fun, because some people are actually even considering changing up their Zoo builds to do sillier things. And the True King variant, where you blow up a Ram and a Zoodiac Rat to summon it out, wreck 3 cards out of their extra deck, proceed to do Zoo combos. The Ram will revive the Rat, and then you just do your Zoo thing again. Maybe people are just gonna run triple Dryden just so that they can get the Dryden, and you're just not gonna get that free advantage anymore. I'm rambling enough. Let's hear what you guys have to say, because I am very curious of your thoughts. And until next time, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV and subscribe if you want to see more content. Still working on a lot of fun stuff, and I have over here, I have something right here. I have Imperium playmats. They sent me a sample. I am going to test this, and I will be doing some kind of giveaway. If you actually stay tuned to the very end here, well, you'll be hearing about this very soon. This is a very nice mat, by the way. I love the material. It's very soft. Anyways, until next time, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.